Hey, obviously really excited for Kata, Jae'Sean, and Caleb, as well as our entire team, because I think they're teammates. We just told them up after practice, and it was a mob scene, going down the line with Kata. I mean, big guys go crazy. We've known that all year. We've got something special with those guys pulling for each other. But they were so happy for Kata, and really happy for JT, and really happy for Caleb, and tore a couple of those guys ACL tackling, so we'll stop to that. But really happy for those three guys. I think it's well deserved, given where when we do all conference teams, we inevitably look at where the teams finish in the season, and we usually go off the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the league. So really well deserved, and just really happy for them.
Chris, you've won this award in the Big Ten, Big South, Big East. Is any desire to eventually get to the Big West, the Big Sky, and the Big 12 and complete the sweep?
Yeah. No, we'll stay with the Big Ten for a while, and I think it's the coaches having your peers vote. And obviously, you guys, I appreciate that too. But having your peers vote is a really nice thing. But I think we've been really blessed. Coaches at times, I really feel like we get too much. Head coaches get too much credit. Now we get our fair share of blame too, right? That comes with the job. But I've got an outstanding staff, and it's really a collaborative effort. It really is. Ryan Peden and Mike Schrage and Terry Johnson, and having David Egelhoff, who's a holdover from Thad's staff, and Scooney Penn and Kyle Davis and Mike Nettie. Those guys are really, really important to what we're doing, and I want them to feel a part of this and share in this award. I really do, and they're as deserving as I am.
I get that, like it's a collaborative thing, but if you've been a head coach for 7 years and you've won Coach of the Year 3 times, it's a pretty good success rate. Just like that, how do you, I guess, compartmentalize that success, and what does that say about you as a coach?
I think we, just like this year, Bill, we've really had guys that have embraced how we'd like to coach, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget when I was at Gardner-Webb and I got the call from Dan's counterpart and from my athletic director, and it was such a hard rebuild there. So in year 3, when you got that call, it really did mean something. But I think I've been reminded as to how special it is to work with guys who embrace how you want to do things. Like this group could have resisted, and I think there were probably at times where they fought it. And we had to grab them and say, hey, listen, this is what we believe, this is how we want to coach, but just feel really blessed. And then, listen, as I've said over and over, to walk into a situation where you get to coach Kata, Bates-Diop, and Jae'Sean Tate, and not only that, but them have a kind of a sour taste in their mouth, so being a really motivated group, I'm not saying I'm not downplaying what our coaching staff did, but that was a benefit for us for sure. And I've got some real concerns about the lack of depth in the classes behind those guys, and how we're going to survive moving forward. But I really believe that Thad and the staff deserve a lot of credit for having guys of that caliber.
It's not been a good couple of days for a number of coaches from the country, and it's obviously a really good day for you. Do you allow yourself to reflect on it from that aspect at all?
Well, my wife said the same thing, and she said what you had said earlier. late last night, we had kind of gotten word, and she said the same thing. Hey, you know, think about this. You know, we've been doing this 7 years, and you know, you need to take time to appreciate it. And I asked her if she realizes who we could potentially play in the Big Ten tournament. A Northwestern team that is pretty good, and a Penn State team that has handed it to us. So, you know, I think that right now, you know, from my perspective, this is a great time of year, but it's really for your players. You know, if you ever want to be humbled, check and see Coach of the Year list from various leagues from back 5, 10, 15 years ago, and where some of those guys are at now. So we're moving forward as hard as we can move forward.
Coach, obviously, these are, you know, they're personal awards and you feel great, but there's still, obviously, you have games you want to win. But what did these signify for where the program is versus where a lot of people thought it would be after year one?
Well, it's, you know, I've said this to you guys, or at least I've maybe intimated it to you, that we felt like as we got into this thing, and I don't know if we knew for sure, but we felt like potentially we could get to some type of postseason NIT, or you know, maybe if things went really well for us with some of the older guys, and we also felt like, you know, we had some work to do in recruiting and because of the classes behind these guys in terms of just depth and numbers. But I think that what it says is that we're off to a good start, that we've got a group that has bought in, embraced, and I think it affirms or validates maybe in their mind what we have been preaching, that not only are there great team accomplishments, but along with any kind of team accomplishments come exciting individual acknowledgments as well. And I think that's good when you see, you know, a teammate get Player of the Year, and another one get Second Team, and another one get Freshman of the Year, and they're all completely deserving. All three of those guys, you know, like I said, I'd have been driving to league offices if they did. I'm so happy that they got their awards. So.
And just how have you kind of balanced the last couple of days with rest that you said you guys needed and preparing for Friday?
Well, I think, yeah, today was good because we practiced. We were able to kind of talk about these awards, and I said, okay, let's like move on from this exciting day, enjoy it. You've earned it, but let's move on. I think we'd all would have given it back for just a piece of that championship. We certainly would all have given it back for a piece of the league championship, but we'll have off tomorrow, and then hopefully a good day of preparation. You know, we were pretty good today, but even today I sensed our guys were a little bit fatigued. And not everybody, but the guys that you would expect me to say are a little bit fatigued. They're just still a little bit fatigued.
You had talked about this before, the conversations you had with Caden before the season about maybe being a little passive at times. When you're going into a conversation like that with a kid you don't really know all that well, like how did you approach that? Did you just shoot him straight, or did you soften it at all to kind of get into the ring?
No softening. Yeah, high achievers, I think, want to be told the truth, and there wasn't anything antagonistic on my end, but you know, I think high achievers that want to get better, we all want to be told the truth and how we're doing our job. And it was a little bit like I'm talking to you right now. It was literally that specific. Hey, these are the things that I've heard about you, and also these are the things that I've observed. Let me hit on the positives, and then let me talk real frankly about why maybe you haven't achieved quite what you would hope to achieve, at least from you know, a competitor's perspective, from a competitor in the league that's going against you. And I think those are good things, you know, good things to hear. And you know, I want to hear other coaches talk about how, when playing against us, ways in which they attacked us and ways in which they felt like we weren't as strong as we needed to be, because that helps us as a coaching staff. So it was just really direct with him, Bill. And he said to me, hey, I think his exact words were, thanks for telling me this, because I need to hear this. It might, maybe. I think, maybe. I think you're trying to stay committed to kind of your core principles, offensively, defensively, when you have a quick turnaround. Sometimes when you have a lot of time of preparation, you can outthink yourself. I've done that before, where you outthink yourself. And, so you really have to commit to kind of how you play in this situation and just take whether you win or you lose. But we'll see. I'm not sure. It's a good question. I'm not sure.
Your teams you're playing are 6:30 on Thursday night. Just curious, how do you guys handle it? Do you practice here Thursday, then
Yeah.
fly there, and then have a meeting after the game's over Thursday night to say, okay, this team won,
Yeah.
and will one of your people be on site at the Garden to watch that game?
Multiple guys will be on site to live scout.
Okay.
We will practice here. That's the plan right now, and then head to New York. We will have a game plan in place for both teams. Tomorrow, finish it up kind of on Wednesday for both teams, and how we would like to attack them. That is the way we'll approach it. We'll kind of have personnel and offense and defense game plan for both teams by tomorrow.
So in light of the college basketball scandal that's kind of been going around recently, what are you thinking about that, and do you think that corruption is widespread?
Wow, and you left the tough one there for the end. Golly, I got a radio show I got to get. Listen, I don't know how involved it is, but you hear stories out on the road, and you hear stories not only out on the road but in recruiting that. I quite frankly have been told, hey, this isn't your type of recruiting situation. From a guy who's known this. I've heard that multiple times. Hey, Chris, this isn't something you want to get involved with. And I'm like, okay, he's a good player, but thank you. And that usually comes from someone who knows the situation. The specifics of it. The only thing I would say right now is we love, all of us, we all love scandal. We do. Not the show. Some of us in here love the show too, but we all love scandal. And I just think I would caution, I do think it goes on. But let's make sure that all the facts are there, and all the evidence is there. And there are varying degrees of violations that occur. And, there's a difference between a speeding ticket and an assault. And both are against the law. But there is a difference in penalties. So I just think let's make sure we get all the information here.
Okay, Doug?
What is it that you think it takes to be a good coach when you are out, when you're speaking to groups and you're speaking to young coaches or some other thing? I don't know if you have a spiel, you say, these are the 3 things I believe in to be a good coach. Or what is it that you're coach of the year, what did you do well?
Yeah, I would say, Doug, the biggest thing for me in coaching is I want to be at a place, and I am, and I have been, where I can coach to my convictions, coach what I believe. And you're probably asking me, well, what is that? Well, I want to coach guys that want to get better. I want to coach guys that are high achievers. I want to coach guys that are going to be interested in not just being athletes, but being student athletes. Not to say they're going to be here all 4 years, they may not, but they care about their academics. And I want to be, I want to coach guys that want to be held accountable. And they're saying, hey, they and their families are saying that's what we want. And so I want to be a place where I have an AD that empowers me not to cheat and to do it the right way, and understands that, hey, with that means you might not be able to be involved in certain situations. And I don't know that that's always, not everybody does it that way. And there are guys that have won at a really high level that do it completely different than I do it. And I look at that and have respect for how they do it, and I try to learn from how they do it. But there are some things that I'm not going to come off of in what I believe. And this is the way I feel like I feel strongly the way we're going to do it. So coaching to my convictions is probably most important. And when I talk to young coaches, that's probably one of the first things. Have a core set of beliefs or values that you believe in, embrace those, and don't come off them. And find a group that is willing to embrace that. And if you do, good things will happen, usually. You got to get a little bit lucky, and you got to have good players, for sure. And we've had both of that.
Okay.